Hi, and welcome to my channel where I share everything you need to know to design your life. Today I wanted to talk about the difference between a space that has been designed specifically for occupants versus real estate staging. And I know this is a subject that is talked about a lot, but I don't feel like there is examples given so that someone who is not in the field of interior design or real estate, I don't feel like there's enough example given that someone might possibly understand the differences visually. So today I wanted to highlight the difference between staging a space versus interior design for a space, because they are two distinctly different things. When you are staging a property, you are staging for the masses or for the potential buyers that you're trying to attract to the home. In staging, it is all about the property and the potential buyer. You want to stage the property to highlight the positives, to downplay the negatives, and to attract the buyers that would be interested in that property. This can be done through trick of the eye. Not that you're deceiving anyone, but if you have a small living room, for example, you would put scale appropriate sofa and coffee table and maybe one chair and an end table, but they would be scaled so that it made the space look larger. You wouldn't put a 5-piece sectional in a really small living room because you're only drawing attention to the fact that the room is small. If you are custom designing a space for a client, then it's all about that client. It's really about what is their design aesthetic, what are their favorite colors, what is their favorite style. Do they want personal pictures around or do they not? Whereas in staging, you want to minimize the items in the property that draw attention to the fact that someone else owns it. You want to create that emotional connection between the potential buyer and the space. You want them to want that space. And it's easier to be emotionally drawn in if you're not thinking about the fact that someone else is occupying that space. If you are staging a living room, you're going to choose furniture that is to scale for that space, and you're going to arrange it in a way to highlight the positives and downplay the negatives of the space. In doing interior design, because you're focusing on the occupants, you're going to have furnishings that serve those occupants. More filled out. It's more about the occupants and the space, the gathering space, the focal points. What are they doing in the space and how is it serving them? Whereas in a staged property, you're going to have fewer items because you're not selling the items, you're selling the house, you're selling the space. You want to show off the space without it seeming cold and uninviting. I'm saying typically you're going to have more furnishings in a space that is occupied because it's serving several different needs, such as sleeping, getting dressed, clothes storage, maybe reading, a place to sit and have morning coffee, that sort of thing. Whereas in a staged space, it's more about showing off the space. Now you can have moments, little vignettes here and there, but overall it's going to be very unpersonalized but inviting, which is a very fine line to strike. And when it is owner occupied, it's going to be more personalized. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Clarice Smyth and I am an eXp realtor and an interior designer. If you are in Alabama and looking to sell or purchase property, I would love to talk with you, and my contact information is below. Now, to keep it from getting too confusing by hopping back and forth between the two, I want to kind of highlight a few of the things about staging and then a few of the things about interior design of those same spaces. First off, let's start with the focus of that specific thing. So the focus of staging versus the focus of interior design. And then maybe just kind of highlight some of the spaces within the spaces, say a bookshelf, not in any particular room, but just a bookshelf in general, or bedding and so forth. In staging, you want enough furnishings in each of the spaces to show off the space, to highlight the positives and downplay the negatives. This is done by choosing appropriately scaled furniture for each space and the number of pieces necessary to create the atmosphere and to create the emotional bond between the potential buyer and the space, but not so much that it detracts from the space itself, because you're selling the house or the condo or the townhome. You're selling the dwelling and not the furnishings. In a living room, you might have a sofa, coffee table, one end table, and a chair. Of course, you can have a decorative pillow in the chair and lamp and possibly an area rug. Now, this is true whether you are leasing furniture to go into the space or you're editing out the current furnishings to suit the space. You would just take away until you reach the amount of items in that space to highlight it. In a bedroom, you're going to want an appropriate size bed. If it's a smaller bedroom, you might have a full-size bed or queen-size bed versus a king. When it comes to the bedding, I would suggest keeping it neutral and keeping it minimal. You do not want 25 pillows on the bed for staging because it's just going to make it feel crowded and overdone. You may have one nightstand or possibly two. Same thing with the lamps, one or possibly two. You may have a chair and a dresser depending on the size of the space. Your accessories are going to be kept minimal, and as well as your artwork will be kept minimal. It's generally a good idea to have a larger piece of art over the bed versus having a collage of pictures or a collage of paintings, because it just keeps it streamlined and it's less visual clutter to deal with. In a kitchen, your countertops are going to be kept pretty much clean. You might create a vignette with a cutting board and a cookbook or a plant. You may possibly have one appliance, such as a coffee pot, on the countertop. On a breakfast bar, you may have a centerpiece, or you may have it set up as if someone was going to sit down and have a meal. I would suggest maybe putting a plate on a placemat with a napkin and ring, and then maybe a cup or glass beside it, and that's pretty much it. Inviting, but not provide any unnecessary clutter. For your dining room, you're going to want, obviously, the dining room table. If it is one that seats 8 or more people, I would pare it down to where it was just 6, unless it's a very large dining room, and then you may possibly be able to leave the extensions in it. If not, just pare it down to the 4 or 6, whatever the minimal is, and maybe put a centerpiece there and keep the area clean. Otherwise, if it's a formal dining room, you could go ahead and set the table with place settings for each of the seats. If it's more of a casual eating area, if there's 4 chairs, you might just set out place settings for 2. You might add a plant, and possibly if there is a buffet, you may add a lamp there or bouquet. There can be drapes, nothing over fussy, so if you have layered valances and side pieces and tie backs and so forth, I would remove those and just put something more streamlined. In a laundry room, typically you're going to have all the cleaning supplies and decorative baskets on the shelf and not be seen. There will be no signs of pets or laundry basket or hamper. If there is artwork, it's going to be minimal. In a staged bathroom, there may be some decorative towels and a soap dispenser and possibly a little trinket dish on the counter. In closets, it's going to be minimized to where there is more space than there are clothing, and your shoes will be edited down to only a few pair. Now, interior design. When designing a living room for occupants, it's going to revolve around what that family needs. So if they have a large family, then they may need a sectional. If they have big gatherings, there may be a sectional and additional chairs and multiple lamps because of reading areas, or maybe they put puzzles together and they need a table in the space. There's going to be more artwork, possibly collages of artwork versus a large piece. There may be a large area rug. It's going to have a lot more furnishings in that same space. In a custom designed kitchen, you may have a pantry with shelves to display all of your cookware and all of your servingware. You may have bookshelves that have your cookbooks. You may have a seating area in the space. There may be a table that always seats 8 people. There could be multiple bar stools at the breakfast bar versus only 3, which you might see in staging. There could be multiple appliances on countertops at all times because that is what functions best for the occupants. In the bedroom, you may find that the occupants need a king-size bed versus only having the full or the queen because they want more sleeping space. And then they're willing to sacrifice the traffic flow area around it in order to accommodate their desired bed size. You're going to possibly have closets that are completely fitted out to accommodate all of the occupants' belongings versus showing off how much space is left in the closet after their belongings are in there. So it's more organizational than visual. In the laundry room, you may find a hamper and a folding table and your washer and dryer and shelving, and perhaps there are bins for each occupant to put their clothes or to pick their clothes up once the laundry is done. So it's going to be more customized to suit their needs. So again, there's going to be more things in the space. In the bathroom, when you create the interior design for the occupants, there might possibly be extra storage for cleaning supplies. There could be extra storage for personal items, linen closets full of linens and towels and everything that is needed for the space. There might be a vanity with makeup display. There may possibly be extra mirrors, such as a full-length mirror for checking the complete outfit. There could be art in the space. There might be a chandelier. There might possibly be a stereo system or a television that is added. There's all types of things that could be added potentially that customizes the space for the occupants that you would not necessarily put in the space if you were staging it for sale. And then there are some distinctive differences in how you would actually stage, say, a bookcase in a home for sale versus if it's for an individual and the custom design that they desire. In staging, the accessories are going to be minimal. The books might be color coordinated, whereas if it's for interior design, there may be a mixture of books and art and artifacts and sculptures and plants. There could be an array of these kind of throughout the bookcase. When it comes to bedding in a staged property, the bedding is going to be very minimal. It's going to be very sleek, almost hotel-like. There may be a throw, there may be a decorative pillow on the bed, but for the most part, it's going to be pared down significantly. In an interior designed space, there could be the sheets and the comforter and throws and Euroshams and pillows and decorative pillows and bolsters and all types of additional finery that you might add to a personalized space. The drapes might be very ornate. There could be a valance and tie backs. There could be sheers and drapes. And in a staged property, it's more likely to be just very simple panels. Artwork in a personalized space, it could be anything. It could be large, flamboyant art. It could be pop art. It could be abstract art. It could be very large scale, or it might be a collection of antique prints, but there's a lot of them and you have a collage all over the wall. It is possible to have larger showings of artwork in a personalized space versus in a staged space. When a property is staged, typically you're going to have minimal art, but it's going to have impact. So instead of having a collage of artwork over a sofa, you might have one large piece of art. When you come into the entry, you might have a mirror or you possibly could have a single piece of art. So in a space that is custom designed, if it is a large number of occupants or they entertain a lot, there will be enough seating to accommodate them. So there might possibly be a sectional and additional chairs and ottomans and seating that can be pulled into the space. So if it is a staged space, the focus is the furniture fitting the size of the space. So you may have a sofa, coffee table, area rug, one end table, and one chair. You might have one piece of art over that seating area, but again, it's not about how many people can be accommodated. It's more about how to show that space off so that it looks spacious but yet inviting. When it comes to accessories in a custom designed space, there really is no limit other than what either the occupants desire to have or the space will accommodate. So if they have collections of things, if they have artwork, if they have sculptures, if they have whatever it is that they have that they need, if it will fit in the space and the space will accommodate it and their budget accommodates it, then really there is no limit to what you can do to make sure that that space serves the occupants. In a staged property, the accessories are going to be kept to a minimal because you don't want to distract from the property. You just want to highlight the positives and you want to make it inviting and you want to create that emotional connection, but not have things in the space that is going to become distracting. I hope this helped to kind of clear up any misconceptions and misunderstandings of staging versus interior design, because if your home is designed and you get ready to sell it, you need to have it staged because, again, they are not the same thing. They will not invoke the same response from the potential buyers. If there are any particular real estate or interior design subjects you would like for me to cover, leave me a comment below and let me know what they would be. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified for the next video that is live. I appreciate you spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, here is another one you might enjoy and also a playlist. Why is it your hair? It's like it just, it just comes in. I'm done now.